Think you know what makes a real rider? Retired bikers laugh at what most beginners chase. I've gathered 10 hard-earned truths only decades on the road can teach. Miss even one and you'll regret it. Stay until the last secret. It's the one most never hear in time. Number 10. Speed is not what you will remember. The throttle tempts every young rider, but retired bikers smile knowingly because they remember something speed could never give them. The truth only comes later, often after decades on the road, when the memories that stay sharp are not the ones defined by speed, but by where you were, who you were with, and the moments that seemed to stand still. The sound of the wind at dusk, the weight of a trusted friend's hand on your shoulder at a rest stop, or the quiet of a long desert highway at sunrise, these linger far longer than the memory of a speedometer needle climbing higher. Retired riders quietly admit that chasing adrenaline fades, while chasing moments fills the years with something richer. Speed always passes, but a shared story never does. As years pass, the men who once bragged about outpacing friends on the straightaway admit that speed alone never defined their time in the saddle. What mattered was whether they made it home, whether they could ride again tomorrow, and whether the road gave them something they could tell their sons or grandsons later on. They remember the sound of boots crunching gravel outside a roadside diner more than the roar of an engine at Redline. They recall the laughter around a fire after a long day's ride more vividly than any drag down a highway. One retired rider told me about a summer night in Arizona when he and a friend pulled into a dusty roadside diner after chasing speed all day. He laughed as he said the ride itself faded from memory, but sitting on the curb outside with greasy burgers in hand, laughing until the neon lights flickered out, that stuck with him forever. I couldn't tell you how fast we were going, he said, but I'll never forget those fries and that laughter. The real secret, passed on by those who have spent a lifetime behind the bars, is that the ride is never about velocity. It is about presence. When you ease back on the throttle and let the miles roll under you, you notice the details. The smell of cut grass in the summer air, the hawks circling over a cornfield, the silence of a desert night when the bike finally cools. These are the gifts that endure long after speed has been forgotten. True riders eventually realize that memories depend on more than adrenaline. They depend on how you set yourself up for the miles ahead. And while speed fades from memory, there's another lesson that lingers on every mile. What really matters is how your bike treats you when the ride stretches long. That brings us to, if even one of these lessons already hit home, do me a favor. Tap that like button. It tells me you want more of the real truths that riders actually use. Drop a comment too. I read everyone, and your stories help shape the next videos for this riding brotherhood. Number 9. Comfort matters more than chrome. The glow of chrome fades fast, but the ache of a bad seat lasts for miles. That is a truth only experience can teach. It felt like every ride started with a wipe-down rag and ended with talk about how the machine looked under the streetlights. With the years behind them, seasoned riders will tell you that appearance is the least of it. Comfort, the way the bike carries you mile after mile, is what separates short bursts of excitement from full days of satisfaction. You can admire a glossy finish in a parking lot, but only a well-set seat and a forgiving suspension can keep you upright and smiling after 400 miles of open road. The truth becomes clear once men grow older and understand how long hours in the saddle feel. What once seemed like small discomforts become unbearable aches if ignored. A seat designed for looks rather than support will punish your back after the first 100 miles. Handlebars that stretch your arms just for style can leave your shoulders sore for days. Windshields may not look as sleek, but retired bikers know they cut fatigue in half on long rides. Highway pegs, padded grips, and adjustable suspensions are not luxuries. They are survival gear for anyone who rides more than a few hours at a time. The men who have already put decades on the road share the same lesson. Chrome may catch a stranger's eye, but comfort keeps you riding year after year. The thrill of admiring a shiny machine fades quickly when your knees lock up in traffic or your spine aches before reaching your destination. Those who ride deep into their 50s and 60s know that investing in comfort is what allows them to keep riding at all. Retired bikers laugh about the money they once spent on polished parts, knowing now that the real upgrades were the ones that made their journeys easier and their bodies less worn. Chrome might win attention at a gas station, but comfort wins longevity on the highway. Comfort keeps you riding, but even the best seat won't save you from what the road throws your way, because sooner or later, every rider learns. Retired bikers say comfort, safety, and preparation keep you riding for decades. That's why we've listed our top recommended gear and accessories in the description. Check it before your next ride. Number 8. The road will test your patience, not your throttle. The road does not measure a man by how hard he twists the throttle, but by how calmly he endures its trials. With years behind them, older riders quietly reveal a deeper truth. It is not speed that wears a man down, it is patience. The highway is a teacher, and its lessons come through weather, traffic, and unexpected delays. A storm will roll in without warning. A construction zone will stretch for 20 miles. A breakdown will leave you waiting on the shoulder with nothing but the ticking of a cooling engine. In those moments, patience is the only thing that keeps the ride from turning into misery. Retired bikers understand that the road rewards calm more than aggression. They learned that fighting against every delay only makes the miles longer. A flat tire at dusk in the middle of nowhere is not conquered by anger. It is solved by slowing down, steady hands, and clear thinking. They recall nights spent under gas station lights, patching tubes, or tightening chains, not as frustrations, but as stories worth retelling. These memories outlast the fastest stretches of asphalt. The throttle shows what a machine can do, but patience shows what a man can endure. When the years add up, the rides that stand out are not the ones where every mile went smoothly. It is the times when rain poured for hours, when the wind cut across the plains, or when traffic crawled inch by inch through city streets. Those were the rides that tested character. Retired bikers say that once you stop fighting the delays, you start seeing the ride differently. A rainstorm becomes a challenge you conquered. A traffic jam becomes an excuse to breathe and notice the world moving around you. The lesson, shared by men who have already faced these trials, is that patience keeps the soul steady long after speed loses its thrill. Younger riders may think the throttle is their greatest weapon. The older ones know better. Patience keeps your soul steady, but your body needs its own kind of fuel to last. And that's where another truth shows up on the hottest days. Number 7. Hydration beats horsepower. You can rebuild an engine or swap a clutch, but there is one machine no man can replace: his own body. Twist the throttle, feel the surge, and let the road disappear beneath you. But retired riders share a different truth, one learned not from engines but from their own bodies. They know that no matter how much torque your machine delivers, you cannot ride long or safe without keeping yourself fueled with water. The road can be punishing, especially under the summer sun, and even the strongest machine cannot carry a rider who has run himself dry. Older riders talk about days when the heat was relentless and dehydration crept in before they realized it. Fatigue set in, their judgment dulled, and simple decisions became harder than they should have been. They learned that staying sharp on the highway comes not from squeezing every bit of performance out of the bike, but from treating their own body as the first machine that needs care. Carrying a bottle of water, stopping often enough to drink, and recognizing the early signs of exhaustion make the difference between finishing the ride strong or ending it in danger. The memories shared by men who have already endured countless miles are filled with moments where water was more valuable than fuel. Crossing deserts, riding through the Midwest in July, or simply pushing past the hours on a humid day in the South, those were the times when hydration proved to be more critical than speed. One old biker recalled crossing Nevada one July, the sun baking the asphalt until it shimmered. He admitted he thought he could push through without stopping, but by the time he finally pulled over, he was dizzy and barely able to keep the bike upright. A local rancher gave him a bottle of water and he swore it saved the ride. From that day forward, he said, he never rode without extra bottles strapped to his saddlebag. The truth is that horsepower may impress in conversation, but hydration keeps you alive on the road. A sharp mind, steady hands, and calm nerves are built on water more than anything else. This is the lesson retired riders want passed on. Respect your body before you demand respect from your bike. Horsepower is meaningless if you cannot keep your focus. The men who have learned this secret say it plainly. Hydration beats horsepower every single time. Even if your body is cared for, the road can still be dangerous if you trust the wrong things to keep you safe. Many believe in noise, but the men who know better will tell you. Number 6. Loud pipes do not save lives. Awareness does. The deep growl of pipes may turn heads, but retired bikers know it is sharp eyes and steady awareness that keep you alive. Riders swore by it and believed it without question. Loud pipes save lives. The idea was simple. Make enough noise and cars will hear you coming, but ask the men who have spent a lifetime on the road and you will hear a different truth. Retired bikers have seen too much to rely on sound alone. They will tell you that no matter how thunderous your exhaust may be, drivers sealed inside modern vehicles with music and air conditioning rarely notice. What truly saves lives is awareness, positioning, and respect for the fact that most motorists are not looking for you. Seasoned riders know the most valuable safety feature is not the decibel level of an exhaust, but a rider's constant attention. Staying visible in mirrors, leaving space in traffic, and knowing where the blind spots are matter far more than how loud the bike is. Retired bikers have learned to dress in gear that stands out, to use reflective accents, and to ride as though every driver might make a mistake at any moment. They depend on their eyes, their anticipation, and their readiness to react. Those habits save more lives than pipes ever could. The lesson is not that sound is worthless. Many retired riders appreciate the deep rumble of a machine as part of the experience, but they do not confuse sound with safety. They recall close calls on highways where drivers merged without ever noticing the roar beside them. In those moments, only quick reflexes, mirror checks, and escape routes kept them upright. With time, the belief in loud pipes as protection fades, replaced by the discipline of vigilance. The men who know best encourage younger riders to think less about how the machine is heard and more about how they themselves are seen. Sound fades in the wind, but awareness never does. That constant edge, the sharpened habit of anticipating danger before it appears, is the true safeguard. Awareness can save you, but only if your body is ready to back it up. Because at the end of the day, your first machine isn't parked in the garage. It's number 5. Your body is your first machine. You can rebuild an engine or swap a clutch, but there is one machine no man can replace: his own body. Oil changes are never missed, brake pads are swapped on time, and tires are checked before every long ride. Yet ask any man who has been riding for decades and he will tell you the real machine that demands care is not the one parked in the garage. It is the body sitting in the saddle. Retired bikers know that no amount of horsepower, torque, or chrome can compensate for a back that has grown stiff, knees that ache after an hour, or shoulders that no longer hold steady against the wind. Your body is the foundation of every mile, and without maintaining it, the bike itself cannot be enjoyed. The lesson becomes sharper with time. Men who once shrugged off sore joints or rode through pain eventually realize the cost. They speak of long trips cut short not because the bike failed, but because their bodies did. Some recall years where they could ride sunrise to sunset without pause, only to discover that as age crept in, recovery took longer and discomfort settled deeper. Instead of ignoring it, the riders who kept going learned to treat themselves like they treated their machines. Stretching before a ride, strengthening their core, and paying attention to posture became as important as checking oil or tire pressure. Retired bikers share stories of comrades who gave up riding not because of lack of passion, but because they never respected their own limits. They remind younger men that regular exercise, proper hydration, and rest are not luxuries, but the real maintenance schedule of a rider. A strong body can hold steady through wind, absorb the vibration of the road, and react quickly when danger appears. A neglected body makes every mile harder and less safe. The truth is simple. A motorcycle is only as good as the rider commanding it. The men who have lived this life know that pride in maintaining your bike means nothing if you do not maintain yourself. Once you learn to care for yourself, you discover that the best rewards aren't found in manuals or guidebooks. In fact, retired bikers laugh when they admit, Number 4. The best roads are not on the map. The most unforgettable rides are rarely highlighted in travel guides. They are the hidden roads you stumble upon by chance. Big highways, well-known scenic routes, and the roads everyone talks about around a campfire. Yet ask a retired biker where his best memories came from, and the answer will rarely be a place printed on a brochure. The truth, earned over decades of riding, is that the best roads are not marked clearly on a map. They are the hidden stretches discovered by accident, the unexpected detours, and the narrow two-lane paths that twist through farmland, forests, and forgotten towns. These roads are not famous, but they stay with a rider forever. Seasoned men remember the times when a wrong turn gave them a view no guidebook ever mentioned. A cracked county road leading through the hills of Kentucky, a farm road cutting across Texas plains at sunset, or a mountain-back road in the Rockies where every curve felt like it belonged only to them. These rides carried no billboards, no packed tourist stops, and no crowds. They were silent, open, and personal. For older riders, these are the moments when the motorcycle feels less like a machine and more like a key unlocking something deeper. Retired bikers often speak about the value of wandering. While younger men plan down to the mile, the older ones know that letting go of the map leads to discoveries worth far more. They talk about meeting locals in small diners, finding hidden rivers, and stopping at roadside markers where history lingered unnoticed. These unplanned paths built stories they tell years later. No one recalls the crowded interstate, but they always recall the hidden road lined with autumn trees or the dirt track that led to a sunset campfire. The lesson passed on is that riding is not just about reaching a place, it is about being open to the road itself. Maps guide you, but the best moments often come when you put them away. Retired bikers remind us that freedom is not found on a highlighted route. Finding hidden roads is magic, but the real treasure often lies in who you ride them with. Because every biker eventually realizes, Number 3. Riding alone feels free. Riding together feels right. The wind on your face in solitude is powerful, but the roar of engines beside you builds memories that last a lifetime. There is a deep satisfaction in those solitary miles where the only sound is the engine and the only direction is the one you choose. Riding alone clears the mind, sharpens focus, and offers a kind of peace few other experiences can match. Yet ask the men who have spent a lifetime on the road, and they will tell you another truth. As good as those solo rides feel, the ones spent with brothers beside you are the ones that stay in your heart the longest. Retired bikers often speak about the strength of the pack. Riding together is not about numbers. It is about the bond formed when men share miles, meals, and the unexpected trials that the road always delivers. A flat tire is less daunting when you have hands ready to help. A sudden storm feels lighter when a line of headlights cuts through the rain beside you. Stories are richer when they are not told in the singular but remembered in the plural. Alone you may find freedom, but together you find brotherhood. Older riders recall weekends where a small group peeled away from the main road, letting the ride decide where they ended up. They remember the laughter at gas stations, the shoulder claps before sunrise starts, and the quiet nods exchanged at the end of long days. These are not just details of a trip. They are threads in the fabric of lifelong friendship. The road tested them, but it also tied them together in ways that only shared experience can. The secret retired bikers pass down is this: never give up your solo miles, but never underestimate the power of riding together. One gives clarity, the other gives connection. Both matter. Freedom is found in the quiet of a lone highway, but meaning is found in the shared memories that echo long after the engines have cooled. Brotherhood gives meaning to the ride, but it's not the size or shine of your machine that proves your worth. Retired bikers all agree on this simple truth. Number 2. The bike does not make the rider. A shiny machine might draw stares, but it is the grit of the rider that proves his worth on the road. Whether it was shiny and new or battered and borrowed, it felt like freedom in its purest form. Over time, though, riders learn an important truth. It is not the bike that defines the man, it is the man who defines the ride. Retired bikers speak with calm certainty about this lesson, having seen decades of brand rivalries, heated debates, and endless comparisons fade into the background once the miles themselves begin to matter more than the logo on the tank. Many of these seasoned men will tell you that horsepower numbers and polished paint mean little compared to character and discipline. They have seen riders on modest machines handle themselves with grace and skill, while others with powerful, expensive models rode poorly and put themselves in danger. The bike can only give what the rider knows how to command. A machine is just metal and rubber until a steady hand, sharp eyes, and years of patience turn it into something greater. That transformation has nothing to do with price tags or brand names, and everything to do with respect for the road. The stories that come from a lifetime in the saddle rarely begin with, "I had the better machine." Instead, they start with moments of endurance, brotherhood, and awareness. Retired bikers remember the long nights of rain when they kept rolling because they refused to quit. They remember helping strangers on the roadside, no matter what badge sat on the tank. They remember staying upright in gravel, not because of fancy features, but because they kept their heads steady and trusted their instincts. These are the things that define a rider. The secret handed down is that pride in ownership is fine, but pride in skill is what matters most. A rider proves himself not with chrome or horsepower, but with miles, discipline, and how he carries himself when the road throws its worst at him. And after all the lessons, one truth sits above the rest. It's the one retired riders speak of with both weight and freedom. The truth that, if these lessons from retired bikers have given you perspective, then you'll want to stay with this channel. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming. The road ahead has more stories, more lessons, and more truths that can keep you riding stronger, longer, and smarter than ever. Number 1. One day, the ride will end, so ride now. Every rider begins believing the road stretches on forever, that there will always be another season, another rally, another sunrise to chase. But ask the men who have already spent decades in the saddle, and they will tell you a truth that is both sobering and freeing. One day, every rider's journey comes to an end. The body slows down, the reflexes dull, or life itself places the keys on the shelf for the last time. Retired bikers know this, and they speak of it not with sorrow, but with respect. They remind us that every ride taken today is a gift, because tomorrow is never promised. The men who carry this wisdom have seen friends hang up their helmets, some by choice, others by circumstance. They remember the shock of losing a riding brother too soon and how it sharpened their understanding of what the road truly means. It is not just about collecting miles, it is about making the miles matter. That lesson changes the way they approach every trip. A ride to the next town becomes just as valuable as a cross-country journey because both carry moments that may never come again. Every twist of the throttle, every mile marker, every shared laugh at a fuel stop takes on new weight when you accept the reality that the ride is finite. Older riders encourage the younger men not to wait. Do not put off the dream trip. Do not hold back from riding with your buddies. Do not let life's distractions steal the chance to feel the wind today. They say plainly that regret does not come from the miles ridden. It comes from the ones you thought you would get to later, but never did. The bike in the garage means nothing if you never take it out. The final secret, passed down from the men who know the road best, is that the end will come for all of us. You cannot control when, but you can control how you spend the time you have. Ride while you can. Ride with purpose. Ride as if every journey could be your last, because one day it will be. You've just heard the secrets that only retired bikers know, the hard-earned truths that keep a man on the road longer, safer, and wiser. Now it's your turn. Hit that like button if even one of these lessons spoke to you. Subscribe and join this brotherhood of riders who refuse to quit learning. Drop a comment and share your own wisdom, because together we keep the road alive. Ride safe, ride smart, and I'll see you next time.